When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future updates that I post on my community tab frequently. Now let's continue where we last left off in this story. After Izuku waited a few minutes after the heroes entered the alien factory that produces that strange fog that's blocking out the sun rays. When he thought it was a satisfied amount of time has passed, Izuku walked into the factory with Void in her short scythe form for close quarter combat. Master, I sense insects straight ahead of us. Izuku sliced the flesh-looking door and walked through the long, narrow pathway to a larger chamber room. As Izuku sees the heroes fighting against the Imperium soldiers, Izuku cloaked himself so his presence doesn't get noticed by the Imperium or the Earthlings. As he observed the battle, Izuku watched the last of the Imperium fall as the Earth warriors, heroes, began to relax a little bit. It's not over. There's sure a lot of insects coming their way, Master. Indeed. Let's see how these Earthlings handle pressure. Let's make this a tad bit more interesting for the humans. What do you mean, Master? While remaining his cloak, or being invisible, basically what he is, and suppressing his presence, Izuku's chains as purple chains comes out of both of his sleeves of his cloak. The moment the Imperium entered the room, he stealthily maneuvered around them as the purple glowing chains slowly go behind them. As the chains shoot upwards and shoot back downwards, piercing several of the Imperium in the chest as they started to scream out in pain as their body begins to mutate. The Imperium that was impaled by the glowing purple chains, their size double, forming claws under their fingertips, with a white tail produced from their back. Because of the Imperium biology, only the outer appearance change, not anything inside. Considering the Imperium don't really have a bone structure to begin with. As the corruption couldn't fully affect the life form. The rest of the Imperium standing in a room with the least of their worries, as the heroes are shocked to see by the transforming Imperium soldiers. Heroes were broken out his inner thoughts about the transforming Imperiums, as a whole new wave of new reinforcements of the Imperium come rushing into the room, making forcing the future Justice League members to withdraw, only for them to get separated. Only one left in the room is Batman. Instead of all the Imperium attacking Batman, the corrupted Imperium rush towards their fellow species and begin to tear to pieces and absorbing the other Imperium body mass, increasing the four medium-sized Imperium and fuse all together into one big, humongous Imperium figure. Did you know that would happen, Master? No, but it's a nice change of pace. Fascinating. I always knew my purple chains had the ability to corrupt life forms, but I never had a chance to test them out yet. Test them out. Those chains are much different compared to my green ones that I normally create. Now let's see how this human fares, being non-powered and all. I'm not expecting much from the non-power human. Who knows? He might surprise me. Bruce dodged and went into a roll under the huge white claw that came from the transformed Imperium soldier. The moment Bruce ended his roll, he threw out several batarangs, then immediately jumped backwards to only see his batarangs that he threw at the Imperium only to be swatted away by his right claw, like it was batting a flyaway. Figures my normal batarangs wouldn't be able to do the job. Luckily, I prepared ahead of time for this specific scenario, as he pulled out several upgrade new batarangs. As he threw them towards the Imperium, the moment the batarangs made contact, it let out a big bright light, melting the skin of the transformed Imperium, making its body structure very unstable. I noticed something's going on inside the creature's body. Bruce immediately ducked behind some cover as the creature blew up on itself, as white debris scatters the whole room from the Imperium skin. That was unexpected. The insect body couldn't withstand the amount of corruption I fused into it. Let's follow this non-power insect for a while, Void. Izuku made himself visible as several Imperium come running into the room, firing beams out of their beam rifles towards Batman, as Izuku instantly appeared right in front of Bruce and reflected every single laser bolt with Void, surprising Batman. You might want to back up, human insect. Master's about to let loose a little bit. Batman jumped backwards to get some distance. The fact that the kid's holding a talking scythe is very strange. And by the kid's appearance, Bruce can tell that's not a normal kid. If he's even a kid to begin with. Bruce is not new to the strange and weird, being Gotham's protector and all. Green chains bursts out of the openings of Izuku's clothes, beginning to swarm the Imperium like flies, as several of the Imperiums was slammed against the walls from his chain, batting them away like they're insects. And the moment the green chain starts to pierce the Imperium, they instantly turn to ash. as the chains slowly recede back into Izuku's clothes without even turning his head to Batman. Follow, human insect. As Izuku cut an opening through the wall of the factory with his void, leading Bruce, or Batman, into a hallway, following the strange child with the sentient scythe. Who are you? And I take it you're not with these invaders. Who I am is not important. All you need to know is we have a common goal at the current moment in time. Where are you leading me to? Where you could do the most damage, but be warned, will most likely not be alone. Give me your hand. Why? Just do it, mortal. As Batman did what he was asked, Izuku placed some sort of symbol onto his hand for temporary invisibility. As he let go of Bruce's hand, as long as that symbol is shining brightly, that's on the palm of your hand, you'll be able to turn your body into invisible. You just have to think it. As long as you don't come across any telepaths, you won't be discovered. That won't last forever, human. I'll make a distraction. So you can get to work, human. After all, you have your comrades to save. Since they all have been captured by this Imperium scum that's attempting to invade your world. Why are you helping us? I have a sinking feeling that you're not human. Despite not having any powers of your own, you're quite intelligent, you are correct. I'm no human. I normally wouldn't even get involved with humankind. But my hands are being forced. These vile creatures need to be exterminated from this planet. I suppose you should get moving. Follow this pathway, and that should lead you to your fellow humans. I could sense their life force alongside some of the invaders. Izuku walked off in a different direction to throw off the Imperium soldiers, giving Batman some time to get to his destination. Izuku stepped into the hallway filled with Imperium as he extended his hand outward towards the alien invaders and released a wave of purple and greenish energy out of the palm of his hand towards the unprepared Imperium, vaporizing them all on the spot. Izuku would pop into different rooms and blast any Imperium that Izuku come across. I believe I made an adequate distraction. Wouldn't you agree? Indeed, Master. But I'm surprised you're going this far to help these insects. I only gave the human a fighting chance, and I'm curious if they'll succeed. Regardless if they win or lose, these invaders will be eradicated regardless. Either by the humans or by my hands. I won't be as forgiving as the human insects. Izuku left the room where you could see several unresponsive Imperiums scattered all around the room. Izuku made his way towards the location where the rest of the heroes are currently being kept. As you notice, all of the heroes are in this white bindings, unknown material. Only one who hasn't been confined in that white material is Batman, who's lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect chance to strike. Izuku remain invisible, seeing several Imperium soldiers coming through the coming through the door of a ship that just docked to the building, with a humongous jellyfish creature floating downwards. The Imperium leader, that looks like a purple jellyfish, with tentacles, begin to hover over towards the hero, with several Imperium soldiers behind him, alongside with several Imperium in human form. John Jones. It's been a long time. The bindings lift John Jones and release him on the upper platform, on the same level of the leader of the Imperium, slowly hovering over towards the Martian. As two of the Imperium soldiers, with some sort of electric staff, electrocute John Jones, as the Martian morphed back into his original form. As the Martian fell to both of his knees on the ground, much better. You have fought us for centuries. You simply could have thus submit. You would have less pain that way, Martian. Fought me for centuries. For what? Your species is dead. You're all alone in this galaxy, Martian scum. Just simply bow, like you are right now. But John Jones struggle up to get his feet. I would never bow before you or any of your kind. Then I will personally see to it that should have been accomplished long ago, the elimination of the last Martian. As tentacles out of the Imperium leader begin to dig into the Martian skin, as the Martian's getting slowly pulled towards the main body of the Imperium leader, forcing John Jones into the body of the alien, as you can see the outline of the Martian being shocked over and over again by the horror of the Earthlings and the Kryptonian. Let him go, you filthy, as Clark struggles to break his binding, trying to help John Jones, as Superman got slapped across the face with a tentacle, drawing a little bit of blood from his mouth. Wait your turn, insect. Yield to us, John Jones. Never. Why do you continue to resist? Embrace this truth. After all these years, you have finally lost. Have I? As John Jones has a smirk on his face. You're hiding something. There's something secret deep in the recesses of your mind. Is this another one of your Martian tricks? Do I sense fear? What are you hiding? As the Imperium leader increased the shocks of electricity and probing into the mind of the Martian. Now, as there was a small explosion upon the red core, not damaging the crystal inside, but busting through a hole out of the outer layer. I mentally shielded him, so he couldn't be detected. Batman shoved his hand into the outer layer of the outer core and placed some sort of device into it as the lines of the crystal turned blue. What have you done? Reverse the iron charge. Destroy the crystal. Destroy it now. As green chains block every laser shot at the crystal, but none of the heroes could pinpoint where the chains were actually coming from. As a blue light shot into the sky, ripping a hole right through the smog into the sky, as the sky began to clear, revealing a bright blue sky, as the sun rays shine down upon the Imperium. John Jones rips himself out of the body of the Imperium leader and grabbed onto his tentacles and slowly pulled him out into the light. No, stop! You live underground and shun the light. Why? Does it burn your putrid skin? When slowly the huge putrid jellyfish was exposed to the sunlight as it begins to boil its skin from the sun. Well said, Martian, as everyone turned to see a little boy walking towards the Martian and the Imperium with his scythe digging into the ground, making sparks as he walks, as green chains erupt from Izuku, piercing the flesh of the large Imperium and dragging him further into the sunlight. Much of the skin is beginning to expose to the sun rays, as the Imperium leader eventually melted away, leaving nothing but a glop of white goo onto the ground. Izuku retracted all his chains into himself and began to float up in the air, as John Jones stares up at him and finally speaks. As John Jones looks up at the floating boy in the air, "Thank you for assisting me, but who are you? I can't sense your thoughts." "Nice try, Martian, but I'm above your understanding. But I'll leave you as my name nonetheless. They call me Izuku, Martian. I'll leave the rest up to you, Earthlings," as he gazed over to Batman, only to get a nod from him, a thankful nod in him, an acknowledgement. Before any of the heroes could ask any further questions, Izuku flashed away in a purple and green light, disappearing. "You don't seem to be surprised by his appearance, Batman. Do you know him?" "I do. I'll explain later. We have to get to work." Izuku reappeared somewhere in Gotham City on top of a clock tower. That's in the middle of Gotham City. "Where are we, Master? This city looks completely different than the one we were prior. I might have overshot my teleportation, and I have no knowledge of this. And I have no knowledge of what city we're currently in. We're gonna have to find the old-fashioned way." As Void faded away back into Izuku, as she went into a light slumber until her master summons her once again for battle. Izuku doesn't want to draw any attention towards himself, while he would draw a lot more attention if he was carrying a scythe around. A kid wielding a scythe is not a normal thing. He would get unwanted attention to himself, so he wanted to prevent that as long as possible. As he stares down upon the city where he finds himself in, Izuku is about to float down to street level of Gotham City. Izuku felt influx of his power in his body. Izuku shot forward, flying over the city to find a secluded spot for what's to come. Izuku rocketed right into an abandoned church. The green diamond shape on Izuku's chest began to glow bright green as a flash of green engulfed the entire entirety of the church. When the light dissipated, you see a huge green crystal in the middle of the church as green chains shoot out of the crystal, piercing through the wall and wrapping around the green, huge green diamond, lifting it up in the air above the ground. Izuku stayed in that state for several years. Over the years, the abandoned church was taken over by a local street gang. The green crystal that changed in the upper part of the church was too high up for them to reach, so they left it alone. It kind of became their main light source when night falls, as the crystal always would shine between green and purple, periodically. As you can see, a whole female gang holding a gang meeting about a rival gang that's been causing them some trouble. They're just a street gang, and they already can't operate in certain parts of Gotham. If they operate in any of the territories of the bigwigs of the criminal world in Gotham City, like Penguin, Two-Face, and so on, they will most likely be killed. And this local gang that's interfering in their operations, it's very annoying for the leader. Give me status report, girls. As you can see, the leader of the street gang with silver hair, single member of this street gang, were all diagnosed of being quirkless. So they all banded together and left Japan to come to America to strike it on their own. When Yuri found out that America doesn't have any prejudice that people don't have powers compared to Japan, they immediately made the move. The States is a lot more lenient when it comes to people that don't have powers, unlike Japan. Japan almost covenant their quirks almost religiously, or like a brainwashed cult. Of course, Yuri wanted to leave. Sure thing, boss. This new gang appeared, has already hit several our operations in our small territory. They've been getting notice. I've heard they were even trying to take over several of the bigger gangs, like the Falcones, and a couple other ones. It's only a matter of time before the Bat gets involved. If the Bat gets involved, they'll be taken down sooner or later. The Cape Crusader doesn't stay idle for long. I want everyone to behave themselves. No reason to get the Bat's attention. Allow him to do our dirty work for us. Got it, boss. How's the process and the research about the crystal that we have in our chapel? I know crystals when I see them, and that's not a normal crystal. Couldn't find anything. Sorry, man. Yuri heard a car screech to a stop outside the chapel, as she ordered all of her friends to get down on the ground as bullets began to rain through the church window as the chapel was invaded by their rival gang. Yuri sees several members of the rival gang that's giving them trouble enter the church. The moment the rival gang pointed all their guns at Yuri and her friends, as the crystal starts to shift and crack. As that crack started to get bigger and bigger, until the whole crystal exploded, as pieces of the crystal shoot into the wall of the church, piercing the wall, revealing a 10-year-old boy. Izuku has aged 5 years. Izuku floated in the air, in Indian style, like in the picture. Izuku looked at everyone with his glowing green eye, observing who's the hostile ones and who are not. It wasn't very hard for Izuku to pinpoint the hostile humans, all pointing their guns at the all other female humans that on the other side of the church, while the silver hair female humans ready to pounce, blandishing her own firearm in her hands. The hostile humans didn't have a chance to say anything. Suddenly, chains erupt from the two floating pieces of unknown material to his right and to his left. Green and one of them's purple, like you see in a picture. The moment the chains came out of the floating unknown material, all the punks were instantly killed, piercing their hearts. Who are you? Izuku. And you, human? Human, are you some sort of alien? In a sense, yes. I still haven't got your name, human. Don't make me ask twice. Name's Ziri, and I am the leader of this gang. I don't know what a gang is, but thank you for the information. What will you do now, Yuri, of the human race? But I should warn you, if you attack me, I will show you no mercy, like I did to the other humans that are on the ground dead in this church. Other things, and I'm not stupid or ungrateful. Thank you for helping us. They were a threat, so I eliminate them. Your thanks is not necessary, but you're welcome regardless. Why don't you take a seat at the table so we could talk? It's not every day someone comes out of the crystal. And to say and I would be lying if I don't say I'm not curious. That request can be fulfilled. Izuku floated down on a chair and answered any questions Yuri had to ask, and he asked a few of his own. Izuku learned these humans are all powerless. Instead, don't have powers from Japan. Then they travel to Gotham. That's pretty much about it. Japan doesn't take kindly to people without any type of powers. Anyone that doesn't have a quirk it looks down upon, like they're less human. You can't get any decent job without having a quirk, like it's mandatory. You're pretty much fighting a losing battle with people with abilities, and some people are so fixated on having power can breed prejudice and hatred. Typical human behavior. But there's a lot of people here in Gotham that has powers, but we had to fight for everything we've got so far. I won't back down just because I don't have powers. We just need to survive. There's no way we'll be able to go to a straight and narrow path. After all, each one of us has some sort of record. Interesting. What would you do if you would acquire one of these powers? Why would that even matter? Why did you even bring that up in the first place? It's not like we could get gifted. It's not like we could be gifted powers out of the blue. It just doesn't work that way. Humor me, human. Fine. We would be able to protect ourselves more better. We'd be able to compete with some of the more powerful people in Gotham We don't want to stay in Gotham forever. We just need enough money to open enough operations to get enough funds to head over to Metropolis. And we need connections to get started. Metropolis is protected by the Man of Steel, that Boy Scout in the red cape, but that doesn't mean Metropolis doesn't have any crime whatsoever. There's a lot of free territory to grab. We simply have to move down there. It gives us a better chance of surviving in Metropolis than surviving in Gotham. There's too many organizations in Gotham fighting for power and territory. Very well, human. I will gift you all, with one power. Wait, what? Don't make me repeat myself, human. I will grant you all, every single one of you, with a power. That can't be possible. For you humans, yes. But for me, no. Chained by the same set of rules that you mortals are chained by. I'm a superior being. I follow a different set of rules than you humans. I will grant you one of my less powerful versions of my chains. As several ghostly chains shoot out and piercing every single female human in their chest, as they all fall unconscious during the process of granting them a lesser power that he wields with his chains of fate. The next morning, Yuri finally regains consciousness with all her friends. I see you're awake. Yuri growled at Izuku. Why did you attack us? Attack you? I did not such a thing, human. I gifted you with your own abilities. Yuri was a bit irritated by his response, and as a silver chain popped out of her palm and hit a glass that was on the table, smashing it to little pieces. As her eyes widened, seeing a silver chain, silver-like energy chain, dance around in the air. Whoa, how did I do that? It's your ability, like I said. It's a lesser version of my own chains. They'll be strong enough for your purpose that you need them for. It's connected to your emotions, anger, courage, determination. It's the usual methods to activate your ability. In time, you'll be able to activate your chains without using such petty emotions to trigger it. Those chains will eventually grow in power. To what extent, I'm not certain. As the rest of the girls in the room finally activated their pink chains, as Yuri's the only one that had a different color compared to her other minions. They are her minions, but friends at the same time. I hope you have nothing planned for the next couple of weeks. We're gonna need you humans. We need a lot of training to be able to utilize your powers in a combat scenario. 5 weeks has passed. Izuku trained the girls in their powers for the entire 5 weeks, as they started to do their daily operations after they learned everything they needed from Izuku, or enough where Izuku was willingly to teach them. As you see, Izuku is current state at the church, regulating his new powers and sealing most of them away. When he stepped out of the crystal during his metamorphosis, he had to reseal all of his powers, so he won't be extremely overpowered. Even with almost all of his powers sealed away, he's plenty strong enough to fight stronger opponents. The only person would require him to unseal some of his power, or maybe all of it, would be the Man of Steel, Superman himself, and that Amazon woman, Diana. Izuku is unsure if he's even strong enough to actually defeat Superman. Izuku could tell he was holding a lot of his power back when he came across the Kryptonian in that alien factory when the Imperium started to invade Earth. Yuri walked into the room of the door of the church and see Izuku floating in front of a television. Ever since she showed him TV, he's been hooked to the television, always in front of it, for days on out. I take it it went well, Yuri? Oddly, it went according to plan. We have successfully taken over our rival's territory. After me and my girls eliminated the remaining of the gang. That's good to hear. Not that I'm ungrateful. I take it you're not planning to stay here forever. No. Letting my power and sealing them away takes some time. It's a very delicate matter. Once I'm satisfied with my work, I'll be moving on to where I'm not certain. Maybe I'll visit the other side of the source wall. I haven't explored that. Did I mention yet? That's way out of my pay grade, Izuku. Here, I brought you what you asked for. Yuri tossed a big bag of green and purple cotton candy at Izuku. Izuku caught it with his telekinesis and slowly opened up the bag and began eating it. You sure love this stuff. It's very satisfying. This cotton candy. Most appreciated. Izuku hovered onto his feet and began to eat his cotton candy and walked away. I'm gonna take a walk, Yuri. I'll be back later. As Izuku slowly walked out of the church while eating his tasty snack. As Izuku walked onto the streets of Gotham. Now that he knows the city is called Gotham, territory of the powerless human known as Batman, he decided to scout around. Izuku begins exploring the streets of Gotham, not noticing the sun is beginning to set in the distance as the moon is beginning to rise. Izuku turned the corner of a street and stepped to the left from an incoming human that landed against a car. He was too occupied by the raging Grundy to notice the kid right next to him, staring at him in the corner of his green eye. Dick Grayson is more occupied by the berserking Grundy, fighting Killer Croc and Bane, to give any thought of looking around his surroundings, as Dick Grayson, known as Nightwing, got to his feet and continued his battle. Izuku hovered over a car and gently sat down and began eating more of his cotton candy that he got from Yuri earlier. He watches the show. I agree to watch over Gotham while Batman's away. What could go wrong? Of course, there's a major battle going on with almost all the high-powered Sluggernauts. And this happens on the first night I start my patrol. I don't know how Killer Croc and Bane got into this with Grundy, but I better stop them. I would rather deal with Riddle right now than deal with these meatheads. As Dick sighs to himself and flipped over Grundy and slammed his electric baton in the back of Grundy's neck, Nightwing was forced to dodge the incoming fist from Grundy as Dick performed a jump backwards to get some distance, while Killer Croc and Bane land a solid blow on Grundy. Out of my way, Birdbrain, as Bane swat Nightwing away by the back of his hand, making Nightwing slid across the street into a stop. Bane activated his Venom serum as he grows in size, while Killer Croc is in a power struggle with the Berserk Grundy. Izuku heard some footsteps behind him. He was put on edge because he couldn't even sense them coming, as he noticed a woman comes out of the fog, wearing a black jeans with a black leather belt and a black tank top, wearing a small leather jacket with spikes on the shoulder blades, while holding a umbrella resting on her left shoulder, walking down the foggy street and approaching Izuku with a warm smile. It's a lovely night, isn't it? It seems those boys are having fun battling each other. Are you sure you're just satisfied by just standing and watching? With your abilities, you could easily stop this carnage before it gets even further, endangering the innocent lives of the people of this city. And why would I do that? They're no threat to me, and they haven't got on my bad side either. So why? I see no point in it. But you helped them out before. How do you even know that? I've been watching you for some time, Izuku. Who are you? You know who I am. I don't know who you are. You have me at a disadvantage. Where's my matters? I am one of the Endless. I am Death. Pleasure to meet you, Izuku. Izuku was surprised, but didn't show it on his facial expressions. I was quite surprised you gifted those humans with one of your abilities on a lesser scale. You still haven't took up your mantle yet, but aren't you responsible for the balance? You still haven't took up your mantle. Not gonna have an easy job maintaining balance around the whole multiverse. Indeed, a hard task to perform. How do you know that? Sweetie, nothing escapes the eyes of my brother, the Endless of Destiny. I was simply curious about who you were and what type of entity you were, so I've been watching you from afar. You're a tad bit violent. Not surprising who your mother is, but I can also sense some goodness in you, despite your methods you like to take. But despite that, I figured you'd want to test some of your abilities since your metamorphosis. Know what you're trying to do, Lady Death. Trying to stroke my pride, aren't you? A very dangerous move. As his glowing green eye glows brightly when he looked at Lady Death, or Death of the Endless. Maybe, but I'm not gonna lie. I kinda want to see what you're capable of. I know you sealed majority of your power. I'm guessing for your reasons for doing that is because you're clearly overpowered any person you come across. In other words, you want to challenge while your power is suppress. And just labeling you a normal old god wouldn't it be efficient enough? That would be a disservice to what type of power you wield. And I have a feeling you're nowhere near close. You're nowhere near close. stop growing in size and power. Very well. Out of respect for what you are and what your duties entail, I will show you a bit of my abilities. I just want to make thing one clear. I might respect you and your fellow Endless, but I don't fear any of you. My bad side. We'll see how internal you Endless truly are. Read the thought, sweetheart. As the Endless, known as Death, gave Izuku a warm smile. When Death visited her brother, before she knew of the existence of Izuku, her brother of Destiny revealed Izuku's existence in his Book of Destiny that he's been guarding since the creation of life, that records everything in that tome, including the new entity known as Izuku. She was told prior by her brother, by some of the facts, what's going to happen in the future. Was instantly curious, but Destiny didn't reveal everything mentioned that's in the Book of Destiny of the old god. Connection, his sister and his old god will form in the near future. Of course, Destiny knows exactly what's going to happen, and he's not going to interfere. That's the least he could do for his sister. She deserves a form of happiness. This is with Endless, and the god known as Izuku, created from the very Perpetua, are destined to find each other. Let's watch Izuku get off the top of the vehicle by floating downwards onto his feet, while she hopped onto the hood of the car where Izuku was once sitting. That simply smiled at Izuku when he looked back at her. Izuku calmly started to walk forward as a purple and green floating object appeared to his left and to his right of Izuku, as beam of energy shoot out of the two floating objects that are floating in the air, hitting Grundy dead on as he goes flying into several buildings. But we're going to stop, well, that's where we're going to stop our part for right now. I'll catch you guys in the next installment of the Forgotten Old God. And until then, I'll catch you in the next video.